This is not something to ignore. There's one thing that if you did every single day, no joke, it would make an extraordinary difference in whatever mental health issue you're struggling with.
I think there are times when people are so depressed that there isn't anything that anyone can do. You know, and the depressed person thinks, and this is probably the worst part of it, the depressed person thinks, everywhere I look, it's nothing but catastrophe. And I can't see any way out of it. I can't see any path forward whatsoever. And then they think as well, and maybe it's the combination of these two thoughts that really make people suicidal. It's like, it's hopeless. It isn't going to get any better. No matter where I turn, there's no escape. The suffering is unbearable. And I'm absolutely no use whatsoever to anyone. It would be better for everyone if I was just gone.
Sometimes it takes a lot of pressing just to get through each day. Life can be pretty rough today. A lot of stress, very packed schedules, takes a lot of money to live. It's a little tough out there sometimes. And sometimes we get into periods of time where we just got to press through stuff. Pressing through the desire to give up, depression, discouragement, disappointment with people, disappointment with God. We have to be determined that we're not going to give up.
The most important thing is when you are super down, outside of finding that emotional reasoning for where you are, is to start getting momentum. Because with momentum comes hope. With momentum comes motivation. With momentum comes, that feeling that there's a reason for tomorrow.
Depression is a terrible thing. And many, many, many things cause it. And we don't understand. You know, sometimes people get depressed because they're really sick. We know that depression can be an inflammatory disease. It might be associated with autoimmune dysfunction. There's lots of reasons that people get depressed, and depressed people can go places that are so dark you just cannot imagine it. But drowning yourself in the aftermath of a suicide is not helpful. Maybe you did some things you shouldn't have done that were reprehensible and all of that, but you don't want to beat yourself up. Remember the presumption of innocence, right? Innocent until proven guilty. And you have to apply that to yourself.
If you have depression, if you have anxiety, if you have post-traumatic stress disorder, if you have any kind of mental health condition, it's nothing to be ashamed of, and it's nothing to hide, and it's something to hit head on with. There's one thing that if you did every single day, no joke, it would make an extraordinary difference in whatever mental health issue you're struggling with, and that is exercise. And the reason you've got to exercise is because what we know about human beings is that when you physically move, your physiology changes, and that changes your brain. Getting your heart rate up, getting outside, breathing, feeling connected, getting out of your house, which may make you feel depressed and trapped. Doing that every day, that physical push. You don't have to run. You don't have to go to aerobics class. Get outside with your dog in the woods. Walk with a good friend for 2 or 3 miles. Doing that every single day not only moves your body, which changes your mind, it gets you out of your physical environment, which is one of the things that people with depression tend to have a hard time doing. And it also creates a bit of momentum and a bit of a routine in your life. You take on just that single thing. Get outside and exercise every single day as if your life depends upon it, because you know what? It does.
Sometimes that first goal is, I'm going to shower today. I'm going to shower today. I'm going to walk to the library. I'm going to come home. And that's all they got. Like, literally, that's all they got. And you got to honor that struggle when you're in that place. Like, know that where you're at, it is okay that you're there. And now you're going to need help. And now you're going to have to set up some daily practices just every day, win a little bit. Not like win your dreams, not like crush through goals, not like be badass, not like, no, just momentum, man.
You will have good days and you'll have bad days, but you will always learn something more or something new, and you will learn more overall on bad days than good days.
And you can control your thoughts. may think you can't, but you can.
So one of the things I tell people who are depressed is like, don't sacrifice your stability. Get a job, even if it's not the job you exactly want. Get a damn job. You need a job. Find some friends. Get out in the dating circuit. See if you can establish an intimate relationship. Put together some of the foundational items that are like pillars that your life rests on. Well, that's the practical thing to do.
Here's the thing with depression. One of the most important things to treat it is movement, is being physical, is exercise. And yet, when you suffer from depression, you never feel like doing it. You're stuck in this cycle where your brain chemistry and your wiring and all your habits are designed to keep you still and sedentary. And you make the mistake, we all do, of waiting to feel ready to do the things that actually are going to help you, even though you know, you're smart enough to know that you need to do. You need to get out, you need to get out of bed, you need to eat right, you need to exercise. But you never feel like doing those things, particularly when you suffer from depression. When you have a checklist of all the things that you know you should be doing, you should get up on time, even though you never feel like it. You should go for a walk outside, even though you don't feel like it. You shouldn't be carbo loading, you should be eating really clean, even though you don't feel like it. You shouldn't be hitting the bong or hitting the alcohol or all that stuff, even though you feel like it. You can start to now go and change how you respond. You have a choice